Hello and good afternoon, Kean community. As president of student organization and co-chair of this year's annual Unity Week, I'd personally like to welcome everyone to today's Unity Week kickoff. I would first like to thank all the departments on campus and all the students who have been our most incredible supporters and contributors. Without your support and endless effort, we will not be here today to celebrate our unity within our campus community. I would also like to give a special thanks to Stephanie Fazer, Lori Berry, Lawrence Owens, and my co-chairs, Chelsea Leon and Gabriella Lapointe, for their collaboration, optimism, and drive to make this week a success. Some may wonder, what is Unity Week? Or why is this event important? Well, I'm more than happy to answer those questions. Unity Week was an idea born in 1997 during the Student Organization and Student Affairs Leadership Retreat sponsored by Student Organization of Kean University and the Vice President of Student Affairs Office. The student leaders brainstormed and came up with an innovative idea to unite Kean administrators, faculty, staff, and students to celebrate the community's cultural diversity. Student Organization created this event to bring quality, campus-wide programming to Kean University and the surrounding community. In April 1996, the first Unity Week event took place with great success, and from then on, each year, the week-long event takes place. Unity on our campus has never been more critical than it is right now. Going through a pandemic for over a year has been a life-changing experience for everyone, and it's one that we will never forget. But during a time of insecurity and worry, I know one thing we won't forget is the effort everyone has put in to create rules and regulations to keep our campus mobile and the rest of the Kean community safe. We put aside our differences to work towards a common goal, keeping our campus community healthy, safe, and stronger than ever before. Ultimately, we take this week to celebrate our diversity, strength, and union between administration, faculty, staff, and students. I encourage everyone to take this time to celebrate and participating in the events during the week and appreciating each other and embracing each other's differences. I want to quote what our country's Vice President Kamala Harris stated. Our unity is our strength, and our diversity is our power. We reject the myth of us versus them. We are in this together. Thank you. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our esteemed, incredibly inspiring, and highly admired University President, Dr. Repollet.
Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. Let's give Lindsay another round of applause, please. So when I think of unity, I'm thinking about people coming together, parts coming together. And I think this year has been an amazing year for us at Kean University. Amazing in the sense that we've experienced something that no other Kean Cougar or administration, faculty, staff have experienced. And I was pretty much closing the school, going from a brick and mortar space to a remote learning space. Now, personally, it hit home for me because on a couple of points. I was a commissioner of education, and I was there with the governor. We decided to close the schools for safety and health reasons. Great decision. I was also responsible for helping to rewrite the Restart Plan as a commissioner of education. I was also a parent that had to tell their daughter their senior year that you cannot go on your senior trip. You will not be able to graduate as you normally would. And your father had a hand in that. I would also have to tell my senior that you cannot go to your planned trip. And also your first semester will be remote. So for a year, my daughter had to really understand and operate in a new space that was foreign to her. And I explained to her, honey, it's foreign to all of us. You know, and when I was chosen as the 18th president of Kean University, I was just blessed beyond a measure. But I was a little bit apprehensive. How could you lead an institution where no one's around? How do you galvanize the individuals that are here on staff that's working, inspiring them, to be able to give 110% even when there's no one around? How do you convince students to come on campus and to live in our dorms and promise them and their parents that we will have a safe learning environment? How do we have our faculty and our staff come to work every day and be able to come here and say that I won't take something back home to my family? So that was one of those life-changing opportunities. However, in the midst of this storm, I saw that there was opportunities for us to shine, opportunities for us to come together, to unite. But the one thing I wanted to do was empower this university to be their best selves. So what we did was that we made sure that we put a restart plan together that concentrated on the safety and well-being of everybody that's in this Kean community. Then I promised them as much as we can, we would continue to have strong academics. Because we had individuals out here that really will be graduating and not really being in school for about a year and a half. So there's a lot of things are going on. And then I had to say, we cannot do this alone. So I couldn't make decisions about what I'm going to do without listening to people. So the first thing I did was I had pretty much a tour, speaking with individuals, whether it's faculty, staff, leadership, board of trustees. But my biggest thing was I wanted to hear from the students. You know, one of the first individuals was Jason Platez, Lindsay Gonzalez, and just really kind of get a group of those leaders that are already on campus and give me the real. Tell me what's going on. Then I had conversations with Matt Caruso. But one of the best decisions I made was appointing him as Vice President of Student Affairs. But I have this recipe, right? When you take individuals that are passionate about what they do and they have something to prove, but they walked in those steps, there's no one that I knew at Kean University that loved this university, that served from student government president leadership role. So I wanted to give his input. And I said, Matt, I need you to be our acting vice president of student affairs. I said, because you understand what the students need. I always talk about the end user experience. Because at the end of the day, though, you're the heartbeat. You're the lifeline of what this university is all about. Without you, we wouldn't have Kean University. So in 1996, Matt and his friends got together, and I'm sure his little group of individual leaders, student leaders, thought that we needed to come together as a group and came up with an idea of bringing people together. Because Kean, I'm sure at that time, was diverse and will continue to be diverse. However, diversity needs to be our strength. In order for it to be our strength, we need to galvanize and bring people together to have one clear goal, one clear plan. I always talk about one band, one sound. That means bringing everyone together, right? All this, the instruments, the experts, everyone together. So when you're sitting there conducting, and I'm setting my mission, I know for a fact at the end of the day, it's going to sound great. We're going to accomplish it because we all know where we're going. We all know how we're going to get there. And we all know at the end, we know what we're going to expect when we get there. So when you're looking at this year, I looked at the lineup this year for Unity Week, I was happy to see the diverse members of our Kean community coming together with the common goal. And I was just impressed at the conversation with Matt, the conversation with my student leaders, and I saw that manifest in the program that you put together this year. So thank you very much. So when I think about unity, it's the Kean community coming together. When I think about empowering this university, moving this university forward, it begins here with you and you. And students across the campus university coming together telling us what we need to help move them along, right? It's our job to move them, as Barbara would say, persist to graduation. However, when you persist to graduation, we need to make sure that we're putting some lived experiences and opportunities in front of them that will give them the skills they need and also give them an outlook. So when you come back, you can donate a lot of money to the university and make me look good. But I say this. During the beginning, I was committed to 3 pillars: safety, academic excellence, and equity. And early on, I told my student leaders, I'm going to create this Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And we didn't know who we were going to get. But we have an individual we selected in this short period of time has demonstrated not only their expertise, but the love they have for my Kean students in this community. So we continue the tradition that Matt and his friends started and continue with these young student leaders, these current student leaders that's going to take us to places we can never imagine. And you have a facilitator such as Dr. Quick and her team to be able to make sure that we are moving in that direction, that everyone, all students, faculty, and staff will persist, will be able to have the opportunity to grow within this campus. I always say seeds of change will never grow in toxic soil. So this administration, we're doing right now is making sure the soil in which we have inherited become rich soil so everyone can grow and we can all persist, not to graduation, but reach our self-actualization. So thank you very much for having me up here. I am so pleased to kick off the 2021 Unity Week, and I want to thank Lindsay and her team. But now I want to introduce Matt Caruso, our dynamic acting vice president of student affairs. Matt.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. God, this feels good. Yeah, good afternoon. Come on, give it a little bit. We're actually here amongst other human beings together in person. It feels really good. And I am here as your Vice President of Student Affairs, but more importantly, I'm here as one of the Unity Week founders. And I need to give you a little bit more history as to why this event was needed, why it was necessary, and why it happened, and why we brought it here to Kean. And it starts a little bit before 1996 or 1997. It starts in 1992 and 1993. A group of us came of age and started out at Kean University when, to steal Dr. Rep's words, the soil was a little bit toxic. A hate speech had divided this Kean College community back in the day. And it was bad. And national news and everything else had picked up on it. And some of you, I see a couple heads nodding along, they probably remember those times. And it wasn't good for Kean, okay? But us students at that point, and most of us at this point were freshmen and sophomore, we said, this isn't what our school is going to be remembered for. This isn't what Kean University, Kean College is about. Sorry, Kean University just rolls off the tongue now. But we wanted to make sure that that's not what Kean was known for. And it took years. It took years of a lot of hard and honest and genuine conversations amongst students. There's a lot of devoted faculty and staff, but this was the brainchild of students. And what we really came about with was we needed to turn that division and that hate into something better. And so we needed to turn that hate into love, and we needed to create an opportunity to educate and really give an opportunity for students to learn from one another, to listen to one another, and to celebrate each other and each other's cultures and the diversity that we cherish here at Kean University. Back in the early 90s, it wasn't a selling point. It wasn't one of those things that we put on the marketing materials. Now it is. But this group of student leaders came together, and we made sure, because we knew that even though things were getting better from that period of 93, 94, 95, 96, there's still work left to be done, and it was never going to be completed. So with our foresight, and the one thing that I take pride in, is that we were determined to leave behind something for future generations of students to complete the work that we were unable to complete, because the work is never done, and it's always going to require attention. It's always going to require that groups of different people from different cultures come together and explore one another and learn from one another. And that's the beauty of Kean University. It's the beauty of what we have available to us in 2021. I'm certain of the leadership in Dr. Repollet and the team that he's assembled that is going to lead us to even greater heights. It's funny that I sent a text about a half hour ago to a few of my friends who were part of the group that started this, and one of them said, damn, we're old. It was 24 years ago when we had the first one, and some of the events were held in this room, actually. Another friend of mine, he's a finance major, he asked about a royalty check, so I don't know, Dr. Rep, you know, he might want some back pay. He's collected interest or anything like that. But it brings me great pride to be here. A quarter of a century later, Steph, if you're here, I'm sorry, I know you're there. She's smiling back there. But a quarter of a century later, and Unity Week is still here. And that's a testament to some wonderful student leaders, especially over the last 20 years, and a team of dedicated staff and faculty members, and especially even Lindsay and the group this year. even a pandemic couldn't end this event. And I'm excited that, you continued it, and you deserve a round of applause for that. So, because, due to this event, Kean University is a stronger institution. I take a lot of pride in that. And we had no idea if it was going to last beyond the first year or two that we put it together. But here it is. It's still standing through a pandemic, and it's getting stronger. And with the team that we have in place at Kean now, thanks to Dr. Repollet and the team that he's brought on, I'm so excited to see some of these faces here today. I know this event's only going to grow and get bigger and bigger. And the next young lady I'm going to introduce is part of that leadership team. She's already done some great things for this community. She comes from a student affairs background, so she gets the students. She knows exactly what you want. And working with her, we're going to make sure that the students and the student voices are the one that lead us down that pathward to greatness and to making sure that Unity Week gets even bigger and better in the years to come. So it's my pleasure to invite Tamika Quick to the stage to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be up here, officially being able to meet everyone that's here that I might not have met before, as well as those of you that are watching. It's exciting to be able to lead a diversity, equity, and inclusion office at an institution who has a leader who's being intentional about the work. With this being my first address to the official university, from the student dynamic, it was important for me to make sure that all of you understand that I'm here for you first and foremost. As Matt mentioned, my background is within student affairs. A lot of us that work in higher ed, we start off working in higher ed because it kind of falls in our lap. We have a passion for working with students. We have a passion for creating a sense of community on college campuses. When you go to a predominantly white institution, often known as the PWI, you find your peers, you find your faculty and staff that are like you, and you create a sense of community, and that's how I got into DEI work. I have a message that I did type up that I want to share with all of you, but I think it's important to also let you all know who I am as an individual. For you all as students, our office, which is Townsend 116, is going to be an open door for all of you. Erin Lester, who is our program coordinator for student affairs, I tell her all the time I want her to be the face of our office. I want people to know who I am, but she is the person that's going to be front and center at your club meetings, at your events, so that way you understand that there is representation from our office that's here to assist you, to hear where your concerns might lie, to be able to support you and make sure that we're creating a community here at Kean where everyone feels included. I was excited to learn that Unity Week actually exists here because it was something that I wanted to create here on campus. So when I was invited to join the planning committee, I said, absolutely. First and foremost, I want to learn what you all do. How can we support and further the cause that existed or started back in 1997? And then, as we move along, our office is going to be here to make it even greater, to get more buy-in, to get more faculty, staff, and students to participate, because we need everyone to know that they are included, that they should feel a sense of belonging here at Kean University. We are in the middle of Asian Pacific Islander Month that we've acknowledged here at Kean for the month of April. And I encourage everyone to learn about the different programs that are going on for the month, especially during our climate right now. We should be supporting one another, supporting our colleagues, our students during this time because of what is going on across our country. We need to be able to feel comfortable enough to get uncomfortable, because that's where we're going to be able to expand and learn more and truly create a sense of community here at Kean. I'm excited to work with all of you. I'm excited to get to know all of you. Excited for when students get back to campus. It does not feel real with all of you not being here. And please know that the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is here to support you while at Kean. Have a good one.
Thank you guys very much. I just also want to acknowledge Dr. Repollet once again. I know he spoke, but working alongside him during the President's Advisory Internship, he's definitely for the students. I have never seen anyone work as hard as he has for us and for these changes. I know you guys have noticed that outside. So thank you guys for being with us today. From now to 4 o'clock, there's going to be a lot of events happening. There is food in the Greek Lounge, and I just want to thank you guys for being with us today and being involved. So thank you guys and enjoy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to those of you watching online. Welcome to our CultureFest portion of Unity Week. I'm very excited. We have some 3 awesome performances for you guys as we kick off this Unity Week at Kean. But first, we have some poetry by a Kean student who goes by the name of Savage Writer.
I love the word like a mother and son, husband and wife. I enjoy the way the words hit the paper like cats and dogs raining from the sky at nightfall. Couldn't get enough for moving the pen, ink blotches covering my palms cause I wrote so much dough or held the utensil several touches too closely. A year since the pandemic, I don't know. I guess I have rediscovered myself and peeled back the layers of my spirit, reached the knit and grit of what keeps me breathing. That energy of the ancestors is behind me, driving me. We're fighting a fight bigger than racial supremacy, cause it don't matter what color you are, baby. White, black, Spanish, green, purple, violet, ultra, we're all enslaved by a bunch of vultures who trained us to constantly resent each other. Trauma-based porn, the media polarizes on the mainstream. You'll see a man with a knee on his neck struggling for his final breath instead of a young entrepreneur coming back to the neighborhood he struggled in to get his people jobs, real estate, and a legit buck for their pockets. It's to a point where your own plotting. When you become known, oh yeah, they watching, bro. I love the word more than I would a partner if I were in a relationship. Word doesn't pass judgment or complain all day. Word is an outstanding listener. I give it my attention and it is not taken for granted. Our future slanted, torn between 2 realities, paradigm caught in an everlasting loop of waking up every day, facing hay, staring at all the cars that roll by. School, work, school. Once I clock out, back to procrastinating and self-loathing. I loathe how draconian society has become lately. Nobody asks questions or form conclusions that are not 100% opinion-based. Instead, they're just settling for anything as long as they can have their freedoms reinstated. I ain't gonna debate whether this pandemic was planned or planned. Truth of the matter is, how many times will the human race continue to sweep its flaws underneath the table? Shouldn't we be using this as an opportunity? The opportunity to, let's say, realize our own worth, heal the qualms we've had buried deep into us, stop being reliant on the entities set out to destroy us, take the coverings off and breathe again, share our vices freely, build passive income, discover a hobby, and grow our knowledge outside of what we attained in the school system? Do you really think it's normal walking and standing 6 feet away from your kin? Restricting your only way to take in oxygen, willingly injecting yourself with a solvent you never seen get cooked up inside of the laboratory, demeaning anyone who questions the validity of these guidelines, glorify ignorance through celebrities that cannot, have not, and will never do anything for you or your family. Hey, you see, I love the word because I enjoy documenting our stories as a nation. When this is all said and done, we can all look back and say, I'm glad we decided to get it together. While I pen this piece, I think of a world where there is no fear, paranoia, jealousy, hatred, gluttony, arrogance, poverty, and equal distributions of wealth, discrimination, sickness, spiritual meekness. Imagine living amongst nature, not killing any other animals. No processed food sitting on the grocery shelves. No doctors writing spells for their witchcraft to be taken to pharmakeia. No pinups, baby mama, father drama. You get it. Kean University. In this moment, I, Kali Raymond, known as Savage Writer to many, shall rise to glory and use his energy to shift society. I love the word and all the thoughts that hit me.
Thank you so much, Savage Writer, for that awesome spoken word / poem. That was awesome. Next up, we're gonna have Benjamin coming up here, sharing us some of his talents.
On Raglan Road, on an autumn day, I saw him first and knew that his dark hair would weave a snare that I might someday rue. I saw the danger, yet I passed along the enchanted way. And I said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. And I said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. On Grafton Street, in November, we tripped lightly along the ledge of a deep ravine where can be seen the worth of passion's pledge. The Queen of Hearts still making tarts, and I not making hay. I love too much, and by such is happiness thrown away. I gave him gifts of the mind, I gave him the secret signs that's known to artists who have known true gods of sound and stone, and word and tint without stint. I gave him poems to say, with his own name there, and his own dark hair like clouds or fields of May, on a quiet street where old ghosts meet, his happiness thrown away.
Awesome, Benjamin. Thank you for that. And with our last performance today, we're going to have How You with a nice dance, How You Club with a nice performance for us.
Not shy, not me, 난 다 원했던 다, yeah. Not shy, not me. 난 빨리빨리 원하는 걸 말해 못 가지면 어땠겠니? 망설이 다시 시간만 가니. Yeah, 다 말할래 'cause I like it, 'cause I like it, like it. 기다려 왜? 기다렸어 뭐해? 내가 내 맘을 왜 말하면 안 돼? Yeah, 그냥 착착착착착착. Not shy to say I want you. Hey there, hey there, 우리는 great pair, great pair. 네 맘이 뭔지 모르지만 내 생각이 맞아 그럼 네가 Yeah, yeah, 내 맘은 내 거 그러니까 좋아한다고 자유니까 네 맘은 내 거 많으니까 말해봐 다 어서 다 'cause I'm not shy. Not shy, not me.